So, hello and
Hello.
welcome to our Empowered interview series with Empower Your Thoughts. I'm Rebecca, and we have Rachel and Angela here. And today we are being joined by our special guest, Chad Diamond Dann. Hi, Chad.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I feel, like I said, I feel really comfortable. I feel like this is a safe place for me to spill my guts to you. So
Good.
I'm here for it.
It is. Just spill them.
So Chad is a multi-passionate, award-winning documentary filmmaker, and he's the owner of Grindstone Films, a video production company that specializes in showcasing individuals who are making an impact on their communities and the world. He hosts a YouTube channel called Good Morning to Greatness, and he believes that we should live life on our own terms and use our natural born gifts as humanity should. He has just released his first book called The Pathfinder, and the three of us ladies have had the pleasure of reading it.
So good.
And we'd like to show a introduction to The Pathfinder that Chad actually, trailer that Chad did himself.
We are all artists. We are all unique. We are all given our own paintbrush with which to paint. But we've been programmed and brainwashed our entire life to live a certain way. How unique and special and magnificent we are to be created and put on this earth. And yet most of us don't even realize how amazing we truly are. As the Pathfinder, we never stop growing, we never stop evolving, but we must learn to trust our inner radar. We were not born to just work our asses off, pay bills, and then die. This radar of unlimited potential speaks to us. It lives outside of a scarcity mindset. It lives outside of what other people think about us. It lives outside of the box so many people are afraid to step out of. That radar is the highest version of ourselves talking to us, and it's saying, follow me down this path. Follow me into the unknown where the greatest human beings that ever existed once played. Repeat after me. I release fear from every cell in my DNA. The Pathfinder, the journey of becoming yourself, now available.
Wow, so powerful.
I have goosebumps.
It's powerful, and it makes you want to buy the book.
You did
I'm
a
like,
great
what
job.
a great idea to make a trailer for your book. So cool. Yes,
It's really, really good.
Well, when you ladies write your guys' books, let me know. I'll cook up something for you.
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
So for those who haven't read your book yet, The Pathfinder, can you share a little bit about your story and what led you to write this inspirational story?
I mean, I think with me, it was kind of like an all life journey kind of leading up to that point. Like if you believe that like every choice and every decision we make leads us to this moment. So every choice I've made has led me to being on this interview with you three, you know, the beautiful triad, as I like to call you guys. I just coined you, but I think, just as you become aware and you're doing your work and you're growing and you're wondering about life and all the experiences you go through, I just felt the calling to start writing down and start recording my thoughts. And I've always been an artist. I've always been a writer. I started writing poetry when I was 11 years old. I chased this dream of being like this rapper my entire 20s and released all these albums. So I really just wanted to get back to being the artist and not worrying about this system we live in and worrying about paying taxes and, you know, the stuff that really doesn't matter. And I just, 2020 hit and the pandemic came and we kind of shut down in March. And, after 2 months of like eating a bunch of food and watching mad Netflix and stuff, I just felt that fire start burning again. And I had a couple inspiring phone calls from some friends of mine. And I just started writing. It's just like all that frustration and the reflection going within during those months as well. And the work I was doing, you know, a lot of stuff was coming to the surface, a lot of stuff from my childhood, a lot of all types of stuff. I'm sure you ladies can relate. There was some work to be done in 2020 and obviously beyond, but yeah, it just came out and I just grabbed my little recorder on my phone and I was like, chapter 1, Dear Chad. And I just started telling my stories and I just started recording like that because I just couldn't find the inspiration to sit down and write. So I did it like that. And then I got it transcribed online and just started building my book from there.
Awesome.
So
That's
amazing.
amazing.
I know.
It's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that many times about 2020 and how it's really an opportunity for many of us to kind of turn within and to check in with our higher self and to grow, you know, spiritually grow. I think a lot of us, it kind of upped our game.
Well, we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the universe was like, here, be accountable, deal with your stuff.
Right. I feel that 1,000,000%. Like I was right before it happened. Like I was burnt out like in my business and I was just like praying and basically begging the universe, like I want some flow and ease in my life so I can work on some more things that I love. Not that I don't love my business, but you guys, like if you love something, you can still get burnt out doing it, especially if you have shitty boundaries and don't know how to say no and can't trust that if you do, then opportunities will come that are in alignment with you, you know. So we all get caught up in that lack and that scarcity and that fear and all that stuff. Like the programming is real. Like it is so real.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you call the book Pathfinder. So what does Pathfinder mean to you? What does that term mean to you?
So the term Pathfinder means to me finding your way back to who you were born to be. Going back to that little baby that was born with the superhero cape, that was ready to step into the world of unlimited possibilities, that was born fearless, you know, before we were told we weren't good enough, before we were told that we couldn't make anything out of ourselves, before we were, you know, basically programmed. And, you know, so the Pathfinder turns into like a lifelong mission of having awareness and becoming something greater, in my opinion, which is actually just getting back to who you were meant to be. So as far as like how did the term Pathfinder come about as the name of this book, to be honest, like I was in such like this high place, like my higher self kind of took over on a lot of this book, not all of the book, but in a lot of the book. And it just came to me and I used it, you know.
Yeah, I like to call that programming viral programming, you know, because I think, you know, as humans, we're like this computer, you know, that is programmable and these things are like viral, like they're invasive.
Yeah.
I like that, viral programming.
What-
Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Speaking about that too is, you know, I believe, and there might be others watching this that believe that we have a blueprint that we programmed, you know, before we even came in. And I think this book, it was supposed to be on your path, you know, so that name came to you the way it did because it was already written. It's already been part of your experience. As I'm getting goosebumps anytime that I see truth, I just get these chills all over me because I know it's like higher self coming through. And this is something that you were destined to do, to write this book and bring this message into the world to inspire others.
You know, and you're talking to somebody that like, I literally hate blueprints. I hate following other people's blueprints. So,
Blueprint.
so yeah, exactly. So this book was such a healing process for me. It's like, I read this entire book before we even hopped on this call again. Just because I wanted a refresher on my own blueprint. I wrote this book so I can rise, so I can come up, you know, for me, and with the hope if it inspires somebody on the way, it does. And it's already exceeded my expectations by the amount of people that have reached out to me to just let me know, like they hear me, they see me. But this is my blueprint. I open it up. I look at the affirmations. I look at the life questions. I see my story. I look at the oath at the end of the book. when I'm having a down day or I'm just dealing with some old crap coming up or just whatever. And like, this is my oath. This is how I want to live life. So this is my blueprint. I'm very stubborn. I'm a Leo sun with an Aquarius rising and a Taurus moon. I'm a triple fix. Hey, I always say the world would be a better place with more Taurus moons, my sister. So.
Well, you brought up a good point of the fact that you were able to before you hopped on here, read it. That's what I love about this book, is that it is an easy read. And I read it within an hour. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
I had it finished in an hour, and I'm going to read it again because you've made it in a way that it's not complicated. It's not something that's going to take you a long time to get through. So that in itself is inspiring, that you can take a message and make a book with it. Easy to read and easy to navigate through.
Yeah, I don't even know like why it turned out the way it turned out the way it did. It just did, I did a lot of research on just how to write, not on how to write a book, but how to put it together so it looked like professional and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people saying the thing about just like it's, quick, easy to read, inspirational, to the point, like boom, boom, boom.
I know I was just at Barnes and Noble yesterday, and that was the one thing I was noticing, and I took a mental note. I was like, look at how thick those books are. And, it's hard for some of us. We're so busy to sit down and take the time to read.
Yeah.
I was able to sit down and finish this in an evening, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just really, really nice.
Not me. That's my drug of choice.
Well, Angela is our avid reader. She
That's
reads,
good.
she inhales books.
Yes.
I don't always get an opportunity to sit down and read. So I appreciate that very much about this book. It's really good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So you talk a little bit about your aha moment that you mentioned in the book.
Yeah. So when I seen that question, I was thinking to myself, like, what is the aha moment? Because I feel like the entire book is an aha moment. I feel like even talking about the book being an aha moment is an aha moment for me. It's like a constant evolution of learning and growing. But I think the one big thing that really stuck out to me if you read the book, I was working at Subway. My mother had just died like a year and a half before. And I had lost my record deal, all this stuff. I thought I had made it. My dreams had come true, all this stuff. I was going to be loved and adored by everybody, and finally have this validation that I was worth something. And boom, I end up working at Subway. And I remember I was training this girl, and I just had this thought come into my head. It was my mom's like voice. And kind of a vision of her. And she was kind of saying just like, Chad, I think you got something here. I think you're really good at this. And the night she died, I was editing my first music video I had shot for somebody. So that was just stuck in my head. And it allowed me I told the girl that I was heading outside for a break, and I just left and decided I was going to film school at that point. And, that aha moment was just, once again, me stepping into the unknown, stepping into something so not familiar that it was so scary. Like I didn't say it in the book, but my wife was scared. I mean, she wasn't my wife at that time, but my wife was scared that we weren't going to be able to get by or whatever. And I didn't know what I was doing. And yeah, I mean, I think it was just that aha moment was just another catalyst to step into the unknown. And I know for my life, and if you read the book, the times I've stepped into the unknown is when the great things happened for me, is when I pushed through to that other side. And, of course, along the way, synchronicity after synchronicity kind of guided me and seeing that.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's incredibly brave, because I think a lot of people don't listen to those. They may have them, they may have a nudge, but they ignore it because it's too scary. And I think that you have been able to prove to yourself that it'll be worth it. So you'll step past that, whatever's holding you back, that fear, you're able to push past it.
Yeah.
It's
right.
Great.
People can relate to being able to take that leap of faith.
Right. The evidence is there.
Yeah.
But we get so caught up in the day-to-day life and the system that we live in and the way things are ran. And like, sometimes you don't see the blessings, you don't see the evidence. Well, the evidence is there. The evidence in my life is that I'm always okay for some weird reason. No matter what I do, I'm always okay. because I show up with integrity and I show up as me, even if I'm growing and becoming something different or more or whatever.
I like to call that the universe has your back.
Mm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
something I'm constantly reminding myself that, we're going to be okay. No matter what's going on, it's going to be okay. This too shall pass. The universe always has our back.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something where you grow into, though, that faith and that ability to trust. It's something that, like you're saying, we're programmed not to have that, not to have the power within ourselves to know that everything's going to be okay. And it takes time and it takes faith and it takes trust to be able to listen to that and believe in that. And sometimes when the rug is pulled under, from underneath you and you have no choice, that's scary. And then that you get to a point where you step off that rug without it having to be pulled. Right.
Yeah.
And it's still scary.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's super scary. I mean, you look at it as far as you can look back to the beginning of time, as far as like history allows us to dig into anything, no matter what people believe, people always had faith in something higher than themselves, whatever they believe, and that helped get people through. That gave them hope, that let them know that that we're more than just these people in suits or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that a lot of us are being called to remind others that have forgotten that, that they need reminding that you should have faith. You should have faith. There's no reason to just dive into the fear and
well, everything. Go ahead. Sorry. Oh, I was going to say we have everything we need within ourselves.
Right.
And we need to be reminded of that instead of looking outside, looking for governments or institutions or people or religion or whatever. Even if you have a belief system, it all comes down to, we are inherently sovereign and powerful within ourselves. And
we have the ability to tap into our higher consciousness and have that come through us and project out into the world.
Yeah. I was going to say that 2020, I think, was a big reminder of that to a lot of people, that, we have this ability to step forward and use our voices and use our gifts, our natural born gifts, as you say, as humanity shifts, to bring that forward. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. I love that line, and it makes me smile every time I hear somebody say it or I say it. It's just like, it's important. I feel like we're like unique. Yes, we are all one, but we're all like have these individual gifts as well. And like, I believe the creator created us to create things and create, we're all artists in our own ways. We weren't just created to work 9 to 5 and pay our mortgage. It just doesn't seem like an all supreme, energetic, beautiful being that created this such complex thing would create it in mind with like, okay, Rebecca, you're going to pay $5,000 in taxes this year. Make sure, we're going to give you 2 more babies and get you that white picket fence. Like, I just don't feel like that was the intention. It don't feel right to me.
Asset number 2, asset number 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So in chapter 5 in your book, it talks about the dark night of the soul. Some people might call it the shadow work when reading or talking about spiritual growth. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience and how did it shape you in the person that you are today?
And I think that's a chapter, I think that is the chapter of when your mom passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. Yeah, page 48. I had these little subtitles. It says Dark Night. So I like this quote. I wanted to read it to you. It's like, the journey of the dark night of the soul is where we learn who we are without people telling us. Adele Green. And I love that, learning who we are without people telling us. And that's something I've really had to do, is step back and just like finding my own truth and figuring out where I stand and what I believe without the outside influence of many others, because I can, because I'm so curious about the mysteries of life. I can go down rabbit hole here, rabbit hole there, and just like, just be lost in it, but yeah, the dark night of the soul is like, it's to me, it's just like constant awareness. It's those things coming to the surface that we have to work through, or it's those situations that put us back in this mud where we can rise out like the phoenix, like I say, and rise up from the ashes. It's just like a constant balance thing. You're in the mud, you rise from the ashes, you know, you go back down and up, and it's like it's this beautiful like balance scale thing. And I believe we had way more than one dark night of the soul. I feel like we can go into a dark night of the soul at the snap of a finger, because you can't have dark without light, and vice versa, right? Yin yang, all that good stuff. So yeah, I think the dark night of the soul is just as beautiful as the brightest light that you can think of, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
love
like
it.
that.
And it's so necessary. I think that so many of us run from our shadows, or we run from the muck, and we don't, it doesn't feel good to us, but it's there to shine a light on something that we're supposed to be looking at
And learning from.
and learning from and
Yeah.
growing through. And it's actually what makes us powerful.
Yeah.
So
Well, and it's also a version of accountability. I
Mhm.
think that especially during this time in our human evolution, we're being called forth to basically be accountable for ourselves, the things that, you know, we like to hide from or not deal with. You know, I love myself some denial, you know, and you know, and I think that you're right, you can have a couple dark night of the souls.
Yeah, I love that you said that, Angela, because I was literally just thinking at that same time, is like, you know, it was a hard pill to swallow when I had to realize that every time I got triggered, most likely it was my own stuff, no matter what the situation, you know. And that's a hard pill to swallow, to like really dig deep into that every time. Okay, like, why is this person triggering the crap out of me? Like,
but I think it's so important for us to step out of the ego and step into our true selves, because those triggers are there to, like, you know, wake us up, you know.
And most people who like to put the blame on others instead of taking a look at themselves and realizing
Well,
this
that's
is something that
how we're
you know,
programmed,
right?
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you're being bad, somebody's going to punish you, or you know. So there's a quote in the book: the life force of our spirit is the art that we create. I'm a creator, I'm a writer, and so I love this. That quote really spoke to me. The life force of our spirit is the art that we create. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I have to think about it, because like the quote just came to me. Like I was just in like such a high vibe at that point. Like where I feel like my higher self was taking over, you know. I was just so hyped up, and I was having a conversation with my friend, and it just came out. The life force of our spirit is the art that we create. So I love being in the flow, those moments where you're writing, or you're singing, or you're dancing, or you're having fun, and you have no doubts, no worries, no fears, nothing in your head. You're completely in alignment, completely in the flow, enjoying the human experience, enjoying the experience of just being, period. And to me, that is the true essence of our spirit. That is the true life force, like being in that place. So the life force of our spirit. So that right there, to me, just like fuels the spirit, you know. And by creating the art that we create, it's like a circle. Like it's just like this flow of like beautiful energy. And like, I just feel like that's what we're here to do. That's what we are truly meant to do. Whatever that is, you know, you being a writer, me being a writer, writing poetry, whatever. I mean, it could be somebody just growing some tomatoes if they love it. So yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to break it down. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts of what you get from it.
No, as you were saying that, I had just chills running through my body, because that's absolutely, you spoke it. That's how I feel when I'm singing. I'm a singer, and when I get into that flow and I'm playing guitar and I'm singing, I feel like I'm in the zone. Like, you know, whatever you want to call it, quantum soup, universal energy, whatever, you know, it is just being in your flow, and nothing compares. Nothing compares. It is, it's just connection to ourselves, right?
Well, and when you're allowing that to flow through you, than you are. You're feeling, you're just in tune. You're in tune with your higher self. You're in tune with the universe. I'm an artist, so I feel like I go into a meditative state when I'm doing my art. And I love it. I love it.
Incredible artist.
Well, she's an incredible singer and she's an incredible writer. So, and you are an incredible musician.
Oh, thank you.
Artist.
Yeah, so that
like
actually
everything that I've seen that you put out
I
there,
know.
it's very blown away.
Well,
impressed.
that's because you're tapped in.
Yeah.
You're tapped into the universal flow. You can tell. And that comes and that, you know, that brings us to you do talk about your musical career in your book. And how has music empowered you in your life?
I mean, how has it empowered me? I feel like music raised me, you know, and to listen, you know, growing up in the 90s, listening to like, you know, gangster rap music. I love Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, like connecting with the struggles of kind of what they were going through, to any 90s music. I mean, like if you grew up around 90s music, I feel like it was just amazing. And I think that kind of led to me writing poetry. And like we talked about, just being in that flow. There's something about music that it just seems like it's a big piece to the puzzle. You know what I mean? Like it's just part of what we truly are here to experience. And my music and career, it empowered me. It helped me grow into who I am today. Like when you read the book, you can see I created this character that was a more confident version of myself. It was me. And I had to do that to like continue to grow and become or get back to who I was born to be type fan, as I like to say. But like it made me who I am today. It allowed me to use my greatest gift, which was my voice, to express myself, where people could see me in the light of what I was born to do. Because I know my true calling is to use my writing and to use my voice in whatever way that comes out. So how didn't it empower me? It still empowers me to this day. Although when I started doing my filmmaking and I started Grindstone Films, I kind of put the poetry and the rapping and stuff aside. But I am happy to say I have and that was like 5 years ago, but I'm happy to say, I've released a couple spoken words and I'm starting to write some more music. And, I have a goal of releasing a couple new songs this year. So I was actually just working on one before this call.
Awesome. We'll have to have you back on.
Yeah.
When you
but doing it from a place of no expectations or no outcomes around it, because I chased that dream of like, my music has to be this, it has to be number one, it has to get on the radio so I can be successful, so I can have this, have that. But this is from a place of love and just like, using my gift without the expectation around it, So I believe 2020, letting go of outcomes and expectations, was huge for me.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So you have affirmations for each chapter in your book, and we are really big with affirmations, with Empower Your Thoughts. We believe that, our thoughts and the way that we speak our words out into our reality creates and shapes our reality. So can you speak a little bit about, how affirmations and I am statements have helped you in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest wound, to be honest with you, was my self-worth, my self-doubt, not feeling good enough, not feeling special, not feeling normal. So I had to empower myself. I didn't say this in the book, but I remember back in 2008 when I was still working at Cornell University, I was living on my own in somebody's basement apartment. And I remember when I first started, I think I had read like The Secret back then or something, and I was really getting into affirmations. I remember literally, I call them shower affirmations. I would just be in the shower and I had this list, and I was like, I just didn't believe in myself. I didn't love myself. And I just remember like in the shower nonstop back then, just like, I am amazing. I love you, Chad. You are special. You blah, blah, blah. Like anything I could say to like boost myself up, I said, and I probably did that repeatedly for like a year and a half straight. Back then, as I was kind of going through, I would say one of my first real awakenings back then. But yeah, I mean, I love affirmations. I think they're powerful. I think they're even more powerful if you're in a group of people and you're saying them together. And kind of like I say in the book, real quick, that's why I love this. Real quick, let me see. I said, for best results, say out loud and chant these affirmations as many times as you can in a row. Scream them at the top of your lungs. Say them loud and proud with people you love. Dance around, have fun. Feel the affirmation flowing through your entire body as you release them out into the universe. I find something special about doing it with a group of people, and just it's
We've
like
experienced that, and it takes on a different energy when you're doing it in a group. We've done it at retreats where we have I've led retreats in the past, and
nice.
have all of the women, when you've got 15 women chanting the same thing,
There are
it
men.
is just, yeah.
There are men too.
Yeah, there have been men at different times. Yeah, so powerful. And, when you're saying those affirmations, you're creating those neural pathways, you're reprogramming those neural pathways in your brain. To recondition all of that, the conditioning, the pre-existing conditioning that the others have told you.
Right. Which I love. There actually is a lot of science behind a lot of this stuff, that we're into if you really look deep into it.
Well, like Angela said, we're computers,
Yeah.
and we're programming constantly with our thoughts and the things that we're telling ourselves.
Yeah.
So I've been in this writing class actually since this writing workshop class since March. And one of the things that it's been amazing, and it was totally different than what I thought it would be. And it's really on how to have conversations with ourselves through words, and how they can open us up and inform us about ourselves. And there's so many different writers. There's fictional, memoirs, poets, whatever. And and I've been doing this for how many months? Almost a year now.
Yeah.
And what I love about your books, I think you show great vulnerability and authenticity in your book. And how did it feel to open yourself up and be vulnerable and putting your book out there?
I mean, it was probably one of the biggest healing processes I ever put myself through. And, I started off the book saying, here is me spilling my guts to the world. I'm an open channel. I'm an open vessel, whatever you want to call it. I'm just spilling my guts to you. I think it felt amazing. I wasn't quite as scared as I thought I was, just having random people reading it, just because I feel like in conversations with people, I can already be pretty vulnerable and just spill my guts from day one. But then again, releasing a book so anybody in the world can get it's a whole nother story. But it felt amazing, and it felt good, and it felt right. You see a lot of memoir type books from a lot of women where they do this. They spill their guts and they're super vulnerable, and you don't see that a ton from men that I've come across in my experience. So I think it was important for me to open up like that, and to give permission to other men out there to explore
I love that.
that avenue.
Absolutely. It's so hard in our society because men are kind of conditioned to not show vulnerability and to not let themselves, they always have to have this strict professional, solid, exterior that they show the world. And so it's so incredible and powerful to have someone like you step forward and give them permission, unspoken permission. It's okay to be authentic and true to yourself. That's love it. I love it.
I wanted to share on that note, when reading the book, I actually read it out loud, and my husband laid there.
Wow.
And so we read it together, and it inspired him. In the past, talked about wanting to write a book and stuff, and nothing about himself, but he just wants to. He makes movies, he makes films, and he's actually released 2 films now. And so I actually caught him looking up how to write a book and looking up Amazon and stuff after we read. And I love that. I just thought, anything that can get, inspire somebody to start pursuing their passions. And, so he's like, hey, I'm going to look up how to write a book.
So cool.
It's very
Oh my gosh.
you know, I love being that spark. Like, I feel like one of my biggest talents is kind of knowing talent when I see it. Like I can see like a little spark in people. And like all my life, I have always loved just throwing gasoline on people's fires, you know, and just watching it burn, because I do see the uniqueness and the specialness, if that's even a word, in others. And I think I've embraced that so much is because I was trying to find that in myself, right? And trying to accept that in myself. And I don't have this all figured out, ladies. Like, I'm still trying to love myself 1,000,000%. I'm still walking my days through the mud. I'm still trying to like fully embrace all that I am. And just like in the book, that's why I left it at the end of the chapter. Like, here I am. This is how I want to live my life. But my new chapter is beginning. I'm starting. This is my next 10-year cycle, I feel like. So like, keep pushing forward, keep going through it. And along the way, I want to inspire and throw gasoline on people's fires. So that makes me feel really good that like even your husband was just like, oh, maybe I want to write a book. I've had probably like 8 to 10 other people hit me up like, oh, you know, I love how you were straightforward with this. I realized my book didn't have to be so complicated. I can get writing my book now. I can do all this stuff. So maybe I'll throw like a little workshop on just the baby steps on how to just like properly get your book formatted and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like that.
Absolutely. I think you
awesome.
did have a video that you put out about KDP, the publishing for
Mhm.
self-publishing, and I think someone had made a comment. Thank you for sharing this information.
Yeah.
Because nobody does, and so I'm sure that would do really well. Yeah. So, we at Empower Your Thoughts, we believe in empowering and inspiring through empowering moments. Can you share with us a time when you felt truly empowered?
You know, there's so many. I'll share a couple real quick. I remember when I was in college, I was just about to graduate in 2016. I entered my first documentary, One Love, the Eric Tallman story, into a documentary film fest. It was like a statewide New York State film festival for college. And I was the first person from my college to ever get their film accepted. And I ended up winning the Audience Choice Award. And just they called my name. Everybody stood up and clapping. It was just like that, you know, it was like I was winning my Grammy or my Oscar, you know. And I was just super empowered, and you know, I could feel Eric's spirit that entire time. He was giving me so many signs, and I'm grateful that I was able to keep his memory alive. But yeah, so there was times like that. I remember when I was recording my album for that record label when I was in California, and just leaving the studio in North Hollywood and just having like this wave of excitement and gratefulness come over me, like, yo, have I made it? Like, is this what it feels like to make it? The day I married my wife was one of although I barely remember like 5% of the night, but because it was so nervous and intense, and I had a couple of drinks. But you know, there's just those moments like that just really empower me to be a better person, be a better man, and be a better man on my terms, on what I feel like a man or just a human being should be. So many moments.
Beautiful. So before we wrap things up, and this has been really, truly an awesome conversation that we have been having.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I fully received that. I'm working on just receiving this shit. Just let it come in.
It's a gift. It's a gift. So what is the best advice that you can give someone in standing in their own purpose and feeling empowered?
You are perfect exactly the way you are. You were born to be whatever you want to be. Like, you are literally the creator of your reality.
Yes.
Something great is happening here. Something amazing is happening here. The fact that you are even living and breathing and eating and talking with the Empower Your Thoughts crew, like it's a blessing. It's special, and we shouldn't take that for granted.
Amen.
Even the little things, the little moments.
Absolutely. That was
It
perfect.
was perfect. Oh my gosh. Love it. Love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And it's been an amazing pleasure. And
You can find Chad's book, The Pathfinder, on Amazon.
Yes.
why don't you tell us about your YouTube channel too, so people know where to find that?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel, you just search Chad Diamond Dan, and I'm just putting a lot of different, it's youtube.com/Chad Diamond Dan. I'm just putting a lot of content as it comes up to me. I have these little messages that I do where I just ring my little bell and I'm like, message, and I just say certain things. And I have this wheel behind me. I do a series sometimes called Wheel of Greatness. I'm about to get back doing that. And just, yeah, it's just basically whenever that creative force hits me and I want to spread my message out to the world, that's where you're going to be able to find a lot of the stuff you won't find on other platforms. So
We highly recommend, if you haven't already found Chad Diamond Dan on YouTube, to go and subscribe to his channel, because the messages that I've seen you put out are really inspiring and they're just fun. They're, they're very different and unique. I love that you go message. And, we're gonna get some really good, tasty tea here today.
I think just some last little words. I'm really trying to embrace just like, because I know we're here to live this human experience. Sometimes in my life, I've been caught up digging and searching for the answers to all the mysteries. But, there comes a point where, you're connected, you feel connected to everything. There's a divine plan at play. We just got to take that time to have fun. Have fun with it, whatever that is for you, and be in that flow state as we talked about. But I did want to ask you guys, because I went and got my notebook and I just started writing a new song. I wanted to see if I could say a little bit of it for you.
Yes. Yay.
Because I feel like this might be accountability for me to actually record this song. So we'll leave it at this. It's called The World Needs a Hero Again. I mean, actually, I don't know if that's what it's called, because there could be like 30 different names, but I'm just going to call it that right now.
Okay.
The world needs a hero again. I'm not saying that's me, but I may be the spark that ignites you to be. Fresh faces. The next generation is waiting. Wait no more. It's not that complicated. You don't have to wait for a nomination to soar. But I understand we've been programmed, wings clipped. All I ever wanted to do was fly, but my teachers told me to sit. Graduation day, I entered the workforce, and of course, it felt like a chore to wake up at 4:44. My passions ignored. We could be good little humans and stay in the system, or we can listen to our hearts and break out the prison. And then into the chorus. If the world keep burning and the people go mad, where my gladiators at? Call me Lionheart Chad. Stand up. It's time that we rise from the ashes like the phoenix with the tears in our eyes. No lie. You're a unique superhuman being that was put on this earth just to do your thing. Your art is the spark in your spirit. Can you hear it? That's the call of the wild in my lyrics. So
Thank you, Chad.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. And
Oh my God.
I was vibing on you doing something like that. So hey, thank you so much.
That was so
That was so cool.
Now you have
appreciate it.
Yeah, now you have to do it. Boom.
Now I got to record it. So,
Right.
so
I love
saying,
it.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes.
yeah. It was fun. That's so sad. I was literally just talking about having fun and doing it. So that's what I did. So thank you guys for having me on the show. And I really appreciate it. Wishing you mad luck on your journey. And hopefully maybe we can hang out as like real life friends sometime.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and sign up for our newsletter at empoweryourthoughts.com.
From all of us here at Empower Your Thoughts,
May you feel empowered.